Welcome back. Another installment. Right now I want to talk to you about the connection, and that when anxiety enters the space between us, it disrupts the connection. And it's so easy for that anxiety to interrupt or disrupt the connection. It just happens. And our job is to not panic. The expression, keep calm, don't panic, keep calm, mirror. This is really important for you to keep in mind, because if you can just stay calm when there's a rupture, and you may have caused a rupture, you may be the one who feels a rupture, you can just stay calm and mirror and see if there's a potential for dialogue in that moment, or if you're going to negotiate when the dialogue is better to occur, then you're going to get through that rupture and you can find the connection again. But it's important to have tools to repair the rupture, both to repair the rupture and to take a timeout. Because once there's a rupture in the connection, if both people are not ready to work with that, then it's not going to go well. That's where fights escalate, and that's where things become dangerous. And that's where we really have a big breakdown. So it's really important, first of all, to know when you need a timeout and to understand the rules for a timeout. So here are the rules for timeout. Unlike when you're raising children, if you ever use this tool, you cannot put your partner in timeout. You can put yourself in timeout. And you can't even put the relationship in timeout. You have to just put yourself in timeout. So the language I would encourage you to use is, I notice that I have a lot of energy around whatever's happening right now, and I would like a timeout for myself to see if I can become ready to address whatever this is. So you put yourself in timeout, not the other person. Then whoever takes the timeout, if you want to keep being able to take timeouts, then you have to hold yourself accountable for coming back to the conversation when you're ready. So that's important to say, I commit to coming back to this topic when I'm ready, which I will check to see if I could be ready by later today, or if I could be ready Tuesday. Maybe I have a big project at work due on Monday. What I say, look, this is when I think I can be ready. The other thing that I want you to say to your partner is, it's so important to me. Our relationship is so important to me. And whatever this is that's happened, this rupture, I commit to dealing with it because it's so important and you're important. And I want to be fully ready to deal with it. So you reassure your partner that you value what they're saying, you value whatever this was that got you guys stuck, got the two of you stuck, and that you're going to come back, and then you follow through on coming back when you said you'd come back. So it's really important when you do timeouts that you have that integrity and that accountability, because somebody who tends to minimize their energy is far more likely to just keep avoiding the topic as long as possible because it's scary. So it's like an escape hatch, and you want to make sure that you stay tethered to the ship if you're going to launch out of it, and that you know how to come back inside and deal with whatever's going on in the relationship. So that's important, timeouts. And then the time that you have away, it's important for you to really look at what do I need to know about myself? What do I need to take responsibility for so that I can safely engage on this conversation? So learning how to self-soothe, learning how to get clear about your part and what you need to say and what you need. All that's really important. So taking the time during the timeout to self-soothe. What you don't want to do is use that time away to build a case. And this is something that I am guilty of. I love to build cases around how awful Stephen is. I like to be the judge, the jury, the executioner, send him to jail, kill him off, you were wrong. Building a case is really problematic for your brain because it reinforces the idea that there's a threat in the relational space and that you need to deal with the threat. And there's no way that you're ever going to connect with that idea. You physically, neurologically cannot connect to your partner if your body and brain believes that there's a threat and it's dangerous to connect. So it's really important that you look at case building, not do that during a timeout, and really instead focus on your part, your history, what you need, why that's important to you, so that when you come back, you're really ready to listen deeply to your partner and accurately and stay in their world long enough to understand and then be able to explain your own world to them when you're taking turns. So that's timeouts. And it's really important that you use those rules and use them well and learn to use them well, because we all get flooded. We all get overwhelmed, whether it's from external work or family related things, or it has to do with the conversations themselves. And we need to know how to use timeouts effectively. The second thing that's important is to talk about the repair. When there's a rupture, how do you repair? So you may be surprised to hear that Gary Chapman, who wrote The 5 Love Languages, also wrote a book on repairs. And I think it's important. I like all the different ways that he came up with that you could make a repair. And it's important to do the repair in your partner's language, the repair language. So the first thing is expressing regret, saying, I'm sorry. And this is something we learn as children. We make a mistake, we hurt somebody, and then we say we're sorry. And sometimes those words are super powerful to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And sometimes they're not enough. So this is about your partner's repair language. The second repair language is to accept responsibility. So not only do I say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, but I really say, I was harsh in my tone, or I was cruel when I used this word with you, or I couldn't stay engaged in this really important conversation. I just ran out of the room, or I wasn't faithful, or whatever it is. Taking responsibility for what you did do. Now, taking responsibility doesn't mean agreeing with your partner's story about why you did it. So we try to stay neutral here with responsibility. So, you could take responsibility. Yeah, I do leave my clothes on the floor, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with, the fact that maybe your partner believes you do that because you don't care, or you're a slob or whatever. But you can just own responsibility. I did do that. I was late. I didn't pay the bill on time. I did drive over the speed limit, whatever that is, you take responsibility. That's a second language. The third one is making restitution. This is where you make it up to your partner. So, I was late. I'll make it up to you by, splurging, and you can order anything on the menu. I mean, it's important that whatever thing you do to make it up to your partner resonates with them and is in fact the repair. So, I will, I will take on more responsibility at home, or I will take the fact that I'm late back to my therapist and understand why I'm late. All of those things could be ways of making it up to the partner or restitution. The fourth one is genuinely repenting. And Genuinely repenting means changing your behavior. So it means that I will always be 10 minutes early from now on, and that way, even if traffic's bad, I'm guaranteed, it'd be very rare that I would actually be late to meeting you for some event. So really repenting means changing your behavior. And then the last one is requesting forgiveness, which I sort of roll into expressing regret. But it's really saying, please forgive me. And I think those are powerful words. So those are the 5 5 repair languages. And I think it's important as partners for you to figure out what is your partner's repair language, to know that it will change over time. So it's not like you can just always count on it staying the same, because remember, we're a dynamic, changing relationship. But to really, determine, at least at this point, what's the best way to make a repair. Now, poor Steven, I need all 5. I need him to express regret, accept responsibility, genuinely repent, change his behavior, and ask for forgiveness. And only then do I want him to maybe make it up to me. So I guess that's the one that it's like, maybe it's only 4 out of 5. But the point is to become an expert on your partner. And so that when there's that rupture in the connection, not only do you know how to get back to the connection with dialogue, but you also take responsibility for actively making the repair if something you did caused the rupture.